Police departments across the country use tasers to defuse potentially dangerous situations. Well, the big question is, when is it appropriate to use one of these powerful weapons during an arrest? Files 1 News was faced with that very question when our reporter Rob Petrone rode along with Nassau County Police for a report on how officers deal with drunk drivers. What started out as a routine DWI stop escalated into a situation where a man being placed under arrest was tasered, and Files 1 cameras were rolling. We then decided to take a closer look at this incident and the use of tasers. More now in a story you'll only see right here on Files 1 News. What began as a routine DWI stop.
Motorist who made a right-hand turn on red, where was the posted sign, no turns on red. He was stopped. The officer detected the odor of an alcoholic beverage.
Ended with a sobering look at when it's appropriate to use a taser on a suspect. In this case, a handcuffed suspect. In the early morning hours of September 5th, Nassau County Police were conducting a DWI crackdown. Files 1 cameras were invited to go along for the ride, expecting to document how police put the brakes on drunk drivers. One of the motorists stopped was 40-year-old Charles Coila of Comac.
Blow out, hard.
The reading on the portable breath tester was 8.12. He will then now be placed under arrest and transported to Central Testing Section for an evidential breath test.
Well, there you go. But before Coila could be transported, a physical confrontation broke out. The suspect appears to be resisting arrest. Officers seem to gain control of the situation, but that's not the end of the story. After Coila was handcuffed and after he was placed in the back seat of the police vehicle, an emergency services unit or ESU officer arrives armed with a taser. He then uses it on Coila once, twice, 3 times. But according to ESU Lieutenant Adam Shiner,
2 times the taser was utilized. The first 2 times full contact wasn't made. It's painful, because certainly the brain senses pain, but the best way I describe it is if you ever had a cramp in your calf, you pretty much your entire body is a cramp, so it's that type of pain.
When we showed our video to Nassau County Police Chief James O'Leary, he said the officer's actions were justified.
And the continuum of force, which rises from verbal direction to physical direction, straight through to use of special restraints, everything was according to protocol, and I thought the officers handled themselves professionally.
Chief, what is your understanding of what prompted the tasering?
My understanding of what prompted the tasering was the subject being unruly, trying to get into kick out the end of the police car, the windows on the side of the car, appearing to climb over the seats.
Actions impossible to see from the angle of our camera.
Anytime an individual is handcuffed and in the car, the burden of proof that the use of force was necessary rests with the police.
We took the video for further analysis to John Jay College of Criminal Justice professor and law enforcement expert, Dr. Dennis Kinney.
In this case, you've got a half a dozen police, a handcuffed guy in a caged car. I would say the resistance and the risk has to be at a pretty high level to justify using the taser. I don't get the sense from the video that level of resistance was occurring from the suspect, although it's said it's impossible to see. You can see police getting in the car from both sides, so it's not entirely clear why they're doing that.
Nassau police say for officer safety.
This is just for a situation where safety of the officers and the subject that's being used on is of concern, and it fits into a proper time to use it.
Regardless of what the video shows or doesn't show, one very big question still remains.
What is the threshold that allows an officer to say, okay, now it's appropriate to use a taser when before it wasn't? Or is there an actual objective threshold?
Part of the problem with it is that it fits into a use of force policy. And with the exception of deadly force, those policies vary by agency.
As for the Nassau County Police Department,
what is your department's policy on when it is appropriate to use the type of force as like a taser?
The taser is appropriate when, in a situation like you saw here today, when the subject is violent, may cause violence to himself or others, and it's a level of force we use that is not quite as, it's on the equivalent with a chemical eye irritant in the continuum of force.
Well, in the end, Chief O'Leary and Dr. Kinney agree that the taser is a useful tool when used correctly. Still, many groups, including Amnesty International, are opposed to the use of taser weapons. These groups point out that hundreds of people have died after being tased, while taser supporters counter by arguing that none of those deaths have ever been definitively linked to the use of taser weapons. As for the suspect, Charles Coyla, he's charged with DWI as well as resisting arrest, and he has not filed any complaints against the police department stemming from that arrest.